Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I just want to dance. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
You know what, Sonia? I want to be the one that walks in the sun. Hello, my friend.
That's what we all want.
Exactly.
But not if it's too hot. If it's then no.
No.
This
no, it's
week,
too fucking hot now.
we are dorking out about 1985's Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which has been a request from a few different people, but specifically our listener, Michelle, who's been asking for like a year. I'm so glad we finally did it. It's written by Amy Spies, who has written other things for Melrose Place and 90210, not really movies, and then director Alan Metter, who did Back to School.
Oh, okay.
One of Margo's faves.
One of my absolute faves.
And it stars Sarah Jessica Parker, Lee Montgomery, Helen Hunt. Adorable. So adorable in this movie. I think this is the cutest Helen Hunt has ever been, is in this movie.
Completely adorable.
Jonathan Silverman, also known as Poor Man's Matthew Broderick, and Shannon Doherty. And then, did you see Robert Downey Jr. in there?
I didn't see Robert Downey Jr. I think I saw, who plays Joan on Mad Men? Christina.
Oh, Christina, I want to say Hicks, but that's not right.
No, fuck.
I know who you're talking about, though. She plays Joan, yeah, right?
Yeah, the redhead, the sexy
Joan
redhead.
Mad Men is, we're going to have it right here.
I thought I saw her really quickly in one scene.
It could be her.
I think she grew up in Texas. Yeah, but this is filmed in Chicago.
Christina Hendricks.
Thank you. Jesus, that's going to make me crazy.
I know.
Where was Robert Downey Jr.?
He was one of the party crashers. You see him for like literally a second. But I think Robert Downey Jr. and Sarah Jessica Parker were dating at the time.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Did I call her Jecca? Oh my God. How much my wine's already kicking in.
Oh, I love it.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah, they were a couple at the time. They did like almost 10 years or something like that.
Oh my gosh. I totally had forgotten that they had dated until I saw this movie and realized he was in it. So if you haven't seen Girls Just Want to Have Fun, this is like before Dirty Dancing, before Step Up. There was Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It's about a girl who's kind of straight-laced and a good girl who just wants to dance, and she gets partnered up with like a hunky quote-unquote bad boy. He's not really that bad. He just happens to wear a leather jacket and drive a motorcycle.
He wears tank tops.
Yeah, that's the only thing bad about him. And, there's like her parents don't approve, and his dad works in a factory, and he might lose his job if they win the dance contest, blah, blah, blah. And they get paired up because they have both auditioned for Dance TV, which is like an American Bandstand, basically. Mm-hmm. And they are like reluctantly paired, and they learn to dance. And spoilers, they fall in love. But
deeply in love.
Deeply in love. Do you think they're still together?
No.
No.
She meets Mr. Big. Are you kidding me?
That's right. Oh, boy. We should do the Sex and the City movie.
No. Oh, God. That's so painful.
Did you?
Okay, I'll do it.
Or did you watch Sex and the City?
Of course.
Yeah, I did too. And I loved Sex. Sorry, this is a total sidestep, but I used to love Sex and the City. And now I see clips and I'm like, that's problematic. That's problematic. Yeah.
There's one clip I saw recently, and it was Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall.
Yeah.
And Sarah Jessica Parker was supposed to be a sex columnist. That was her whole thing. And Kim Cattrall was a publicist who had her own business. Yeah. And it's 20 plus years ago. And Kim Cattrall is saying to Sarah Jessica Parker, like, in the future, people aren't really going to care about labels. They're not going to care about male, female, or bisexual or anything. It's not going to be a big deal. And Sarah Jessica's like, what are you talking about? Like, freak. And I'm like, wait a second. Aren't you supposed to be a sex columnist?
She's the biggest, prude sex columnist, ever.
She was a Kathy cartoon.
Yeah. She really was. if you are interested in learning more, go to TikTok and like look at the hashtag like Carrie Bradshaw was the worst.
Yes, she was the worst friend. But Sarah Jessica Parker has so much charisma. I've always really liked her. She was a Broadway star. She was in Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that she called the dogs, one of the names she had for the dog was Sandy?
I did not notice that. Cute.
Yeah. That's a callback. That's they say in comedy.
She is really, really cute in this movie. She's adorable. Mm-hmm. Everybody drink. And you love her. You love her. She's great. I mean, the year before this, she did Footloose, and that was like a small part. And she gets to dance a little bit with Kevin Bacon. And
yeah.
And this one, she gets to full on dance, and she's a really good dancer. I think she did her own dancing, right? She's really good.
We might disagree there.
You don't think so? Interesting.
No. I think she's fine, but I think, well, it's so funny because so they show up and there's this audition, and Helen Hunt is her best friend, and Helen Hunt learned to act since then. She's just kind of all attitude, but it's great. She's like the friend that gets in trouble all the time. They go to a Catholic school and they go to this dance contest. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
They go to a dance contest, and Helen Hunt gets paired with some weird guy. And then Sarah Jessica Parker I feel like she's more of a tumbler, and that she can hit certain things, but there's times I could tell there's a body double.
Gotcha.
Doing it. And there's a lot of gymnastics for me.
Yeah.
A lot of tumbling. It's a lot of tumbling they're both doing.
Yeah. It's like she's the tumbler and he's the one that dances, and together they
make magic.
They make magic, apparently. It's funny what you're saying about Helen Hunt in this movie. Like, she's playing one of those teenagers that you only see in movies, and it's the teenager who doesn't give a fuck what anyone else thinks.
Has no neuroses at all.
By the way, I would have loved to have been that kind of teenager. And like in a perfect world, we would have more teenagers like Helen Hunt in this movie who just wear whatever the fuck they want. And like, I mean, one point she's wearing a hat with a fucking cricket on it, a giant bug on her head, you know, and
she handles every situation well too.
Yeah. She's a movie teenager, and that's fine.
Yes.
She's very entertaining, and she's super fun whenever she shows up. I'm like, oh, good. And by the way, I'm someone who's like, I'm kind of usually indifferent to Helen Hunt. Like when she's in movies, I'm like, that's fine, whatever. Like she's not my fave. I really like her in this. I think she's really cute.
She's a good director. She's directed a lot of TV in the last couple of years, and she's a good director. Yeah. But this was like one of her first parts. She did a TV after school special, and it was all about not speed, but freebasing.
Oh my God.
It was about
really?
Some kind of drug. Yeah. Oh, it's famous. You could look this up. Helen Hunt clip where she thinks like there's something crawling on her face and she jumps out a window.
I will check it out.
You have to find it. It's amazing.
She also did the one where she's like a girl who wants to be a quarterback.
Yes, the girl who wants to be the quarterback. I love that movie. Yeah, she's really good in that.
What is it called? It's like Quarterback Princess or something like. Yeah, I just remember it being on like all the time. I'm like, I liked young Helen Hunt, and then like by the time she got to Mad About You, I was like, I'm over this, but that's okay. I'm glad that she's directing, and I actually like her more now than I used to. It's interesting we're doing this one after we just did The Wedding Singer last week, right? Because we were commenting about how they're trying to cram like all of the 80s into 1985, which, you know, they're still talking about JR and they're doing Rubik's Cubes and things like that. And this movie's actually filmed in 85. And what did you think of the clothes? Let's start with the clothes.
I didn't mind it. I thought Helen Hunt's outfits, some of them were pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I think they were very accurate for the time.
I mean,
it's a lot of dance wear. Jonathan Silverman, I mean, they all, and the teenagers, like they all looked, because it's like, I was a teenager in the 80s, so I remember this is what they look like. So when I see like these really over the top reproductions, it's kind of weird. I mean, the dance clothes are very 80s.
Yes.
And the dancing, the very beginning, Gina Gershon is one of the dancers. Yes. And then Robin Anton, who created the Pussycat Dolls, she's one of the dancers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really? Yeah, there's some really good dancers at the top of the show, and that are, dancing in heaven, that song. And at the end when they have the competition, I'm like,
I love
they're
that
all
song.
really good. How
I
does
love
Sarah
that song.
Jessica Parker with her tumbling win? I'm just like, be a gymnast. But anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead, continue.
There's I love the audition for the dance show where like we get to see like here's what punk dancing looks like, and it's like a dude in, like leather suspenders or something, like just like wiggling around and doing some weird thing. And then it's like then we get like new wave, I guess, because they're wearing the like red and black check outfit. And then we get some break dancers kind of, but they're white because
Yes.
because why would we have people of color in this movie? So we have that, and then we get Janie, that's the Sarah Jessica Parker character who's doing all of her tumbling. And I thought this was interesting. They pair her up with the most generic looking dude who I don't even know if he did any dancing. He like basically walked her out on stage and then stepped aside. And she just starts tumbling, and that's it. And then they pair her up with the other. We never see that guy again. And then Helen Hunt is paired up with a dude who's like super terrible and like steps on her feet, and she's like, that was like assault. He was so terrible. And she didn't make the cut, so she doesn't get to go to the big audition on TV, live TV.
And Sarah Jessica Parker is a Catholic school girl, and her parents are very strict. I guess her dad's military.
Yeah.
And she has a brother. And sometimes, I don't know if the director's a straight guy or not, but sometimes he films her in the Catholic girl uniforms. It's like, okay, we get it, dude. It's like the up and down shots. Yes, some of that is there. But she goes to an all-girls Catholic school, and then she starts flirting with this guy, and he rides a motorcycle.
Yeah,
and
because he's
wears
bad boy.
Tank tops.
He's bad boy.
Yes, great hair, great 80s hair, and he had his sister Shannon Doherty, who's really good, I think.
Yeah.
For the part, she was like 12.
Yeah,
maybe?
she's so cute. She's so
adorable.
Yeah, everybody drink.
Everybody
so
drink. Cute. She's really good.
Yeah, I really liked her. She's got like a little crush on Jonathan Silverman, who's basically like an Alex P. Keaton type, right?
He had a good looking window of like a few years.
Yeah,
like he was really hot, and then otherwise he kind of looks like you said, like Matthew Broderick's brother.
Yeah, he did a lot of like, it was like Jonathan Silver. It was like you try to get Matthew Broderick, and when that shit didn't work out, you might get John Cryer. And then when you couldn't get John Cryer, you would get Jonathan Silverman. That's what I think.
Who's great, by the way.
Yeah, by the way,
really funny.
It's not a knock on him. Like it sounded like a knock. It's kind of a knock, I guess. But like I don't mean it that way. I just mean like that's kind of how it worked. Like
that's how Hollywood is.
Yeah, that's how it was. And we love John Cryer, and we talk about how much we love John Cryer and Hiding Out. But
and Matthew Broderick's great.
Yeah, we love Matthew Broderick, of course. I'm not a monster.
No, Jonathan Silverman's great in this part. He's just kind of like the dorky best friend.
Yes.
To the cool guy. And he's always trying to merch. And he has crushes on. He's very game to like, meet women. He does that. I'm so glad they don't do this anymore, but he does that thing where he tries to interrupt a woman dancing with another guy.
Yeah.
Like that, may I, break in? And her boyfriend's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I found that was creepy and
you're
rude.
like, your car's being towed. That was his thing, right? So that people would leave, and then he'd step in. There was this really gross thing too, where he goes up to a girl who's, got a nice rack, and he's like, you would be really good at this game called Tune In Tokyo, and like basically just uses it and just excuse to like grab her boobs. And I'm like, gross. Like,
yeah,
it's just like really. The movie's so strange to me. By the way, I watched this movie all the time when I was
were younger.
Yes, it was on like TBS and TNT and HBO and all those things, and I would have been like 15, so it was like right up my alley. There's these weird things in the movie. One is there's him like grabbing that woman's boobs during the like Tune In Tokyo thing. It's so gross. There's a thing where like she Sarah Jessica Parker's character gets on the motorcycle and she's like, "Is it safe?" And they're like, "It's the safest thing you'll ever have between your legs."
Between your legs.
And she's all, "What?" And they're like, "Nothing." Like, once again, pretty gross for a movie that's not being gross. Usually,
no, it's aimed at kids, really.
Yeah, and then there's just like also like really weird comedy, like with the nun doing the pommel horse.
I liked
Which,
it
by
that
the way,
like
makes
Helen
me
Hunt
laugh.
like called her sister Sledge. There's certain kinds of things like other people wouldn't know what that was about, but I kind of liked it. It was just weird enough for me. But she's the prankster, and she helps Sarah Jessica Parker get out of like doing whatever she's doing after school, so she can rehearse with this guy.
Yes,
for a couple of weeks straight. She looks great in all the dance wear and stuff like that.
Yes.
And they have conflict. There's a woman that has the hots for him, and she's the rich girl.
yes.
And her dad gives her she only has one car, Mercedes. And her dad he owns the oil refinery. He owns
he owns some factory that.
factory. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm thinking of the word. But he kind of is a thug. I mean, he kind of talks a little bit like he's a thug, but
Yeah, like he's
I don't know.
mafia or something.
yeah. But I do like I always like the part where she gives him an invitation to her cotillion or whatever it is, her debutante ball, and he's like, yeah, whatever. And then Sarah Jessica Parker and Helen Hunt get a copy of it, and so they go to the copy store.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 150 and I like they bring along Shannon Doherty with them, like they include her in the thing, which is not always what teenagers do. They don't want kids around them.
Yes.
But they have this party, and this girl, very 80s, her look and everything.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden she has a basic band playing.
Yeah, the Grateful Dudes. The Grateful Dudes,
which is great. I loved it. That made me laugh. And then all of a sudden the windows just shatter, and then people just kept running in. They gave out like 150 copies.
That's how people go to a party. I don't even know if punk rockers would be like, "Leah, let's go to this party," and then
hey, yo, it's at the country club. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's crash through the window. Like, I don't know if that's a thing, but that's fine. That's fine. And yeah, they get all nuts and start doing punk rock things, and there's all these like lady bodybuilders show up, and like it's
so bizarre. And they take over for the band, but they have different instruments, and it's just this. So it ruins the girl's debutante ball. And we don't care because she's an asshole.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
Yeah, she's horrible. There's not that much that goes on here. I mean, they have this manufactured. They're kind of dating. He doesn't really commit, but then he does. And then they break up, and then they, spoiler, they get back together. And they get back together in time for her to first confront her dad about how she wants to do the motorcycle riders going by. That's like, what's his name?
He's
Jeff
coming.
Malone.
He's coming. He wants you to dance with him.
That's it. I'll tumble for you. Okay.
I'll tumble for you.
He takes her, she has the talk with her parents about how I want to be my own person and do my own things. They go in on the live, and then they're playing the song Dancing in Heaven.
I do really like that song, actually.
I do too. I have to say, I do too. They didn't have, I guess, the rights to the real versions of songs. I mean, so Robert Hazard is a Philly rocker guy. And I remember I was a kid and we lived in Pennsylvania. He was this up and comer. He was going to be a big star, and he had this big, how like somebody's a star in like your region, like Timex Social Club. They were like big in the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember.
Yeah. How do rumors get started?
Started by the jealous people.
Yeah. So Robert Hazard, he had a song called Escalator of Life. And then he didn't have a follow-up album. He wrote this song for Cyndi Lauper. So it's his rights. So he sold those rights. And thankfully, that's what like kept him alive. He was eventually had cancer and died.
Oh.
Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
But Cyndi Crawford, excuse me, Cyndi Lauper. That's a difference of Cyndi.
Nobody wants that Cyndi Crawford song.
Cyndi Lauper was like, no, I'm not doing it. You can't have my version. I don't care. I won't. And I don't know if she appears in the movie or not. Somebody said that she has an appearance, but I don't remember.
I didn't see her.
I didn't see her at all. But then they also have that song, and then I forget the other song that they play. But spoiler, they win.
Yes. Yeah, of course they do. But it's like, if you've seen Dirty Dancing, if you've seen Save the Last Dance, if you've seen any Step Up movie, like, they're all just like this movie. Like, they all, like, they have the bad boy, they have a good girl. Dirty Dancing doesn't have a dance contest, but it has a dancing thing at the end of the movie.
So I hear.
Yeah, I know, it's so weird to me that Margo has never seen Dirty Dancing. We really
Not
should.
all the way through.
We really should talk about Dirty Dancing sometime.
I'd be into it.
I actually think. I think the movie might surprise you, and in that it's better than you think. The name didn't do it any favors. I'll just say that. And it's got Patrick Swayze.
It did fine, believe me. I think it was plenty successful.
Yeah, no.
It didn't need me to be a booster.
when I say it didn't do it any favors, I think it makes it sound like it's like a really shitty movie you would watch on Cinemax or something. That's all.
It sounds lascivious.
Yes, that's a good word. That's exactly what it sounds like. Anyway, yeah. So they win the dance contest, and her dad's like, you're so great. You're such a good dancer. There are little things that I do like about the movie so much. Like, I think it's very watchable. Like, it's super light. The conflict is pretty minimal. Like we said, it's really just rich bitch, which is super 80s. And I do like that the little brother is helpful, not someone who's trying to sabotage her. I thought that was kind of a nice touch. I think Shannon Doherty is so cute as the little sister that is also trying to help. Like I said, I love Helen Hunt in the movie. I think she's really fun. And don't worry, everybody, she gets to be like the new, what is it, like the queen of dance TV or whatever at the end. Like she comes out on like a horse and chariot with her like crown, and
then it just ends.
And then the movie just ends. It's
just credits.
But like I said, the tone of the movie is so all over the place that that's why this rewatch was so fun for me, because I don't know, it's got like straight teenage stuff, but then we have weird comedy with like nuns, and then we have punk rockers, and then we have this weird dancing. I don't know, this movie's all over the place, but it's really entertaining to me.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's a fun little breezy couple of hours. I remember just being happy there was a movie that was centered on girls and teenage girls, because we didn't get a lot of those. I mean, there were some teen movies, but it was about what the boys were going through.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I like it for that reason. Who knew they would grow up to be superstars?
That's true. Like, there's a bunch of them in this movie. I mean, Sarah Jessica Parker's huge. The guy, not so much.
Yeah, I don't know what else he's done. Jonathan Silverman. He was on Give Me a Break.
Yeah, Jonathan Silverman was on. He also had like a show on NBC. It was like the single guy. Yes, it was one of those shows that was on like, oh god, where was it? It was like after Cosby Show, but before Cheers. Like there was like this sweet like 8:30 on Thursday time slots.
Yeah, what did they call that? Must see TV night. Yeah, it was like all
And so there were all these sitcoms that they would cram in. So at like 8:00, you had something awesome like Cosby Show or Friends or whatever. At 9:00, you had Cheers or Seinfeld. And then at like 8:30, 9:30, you had like and
yes.
And then ER would come on. And or before that, LA Law. Yeah.
And he was a single guy in New York City. They're trying to recreate Friends, but they're just centering it around one guy who had a bunch of friends. And it was just the same thing. It just wasn't, I don't know. It was something you can get away with like 25 years ago. Like, sure, that's a show I'll watch. Like nowadays, it would not cut the mustard. I mean, you wouldn't. Suddenly
Susan. That was another one of those like sitcoms.
Yeah, that one I was like, and it was on for years.
Yeah, and it had Judd Nelson, and I remember being so excited that Judd Nelson was in a sitcom.
Was working.
And then I watched it, and I was like, Carolyn in the City, that was one. Now I'm just thinking of really crazy.
Caroline in this. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was one. What was it? There was another one in there that. Anyway. Oh, Veronica's Closet with Kirstie Alley.
And then, was it Dear John? Judd Nelson?
Oh, yeah.
Therapy group?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, not Judd Nelson. Judd. What was that guy's name? The guy from Taxi.
Judd, not Apatow. Judd Hirsch.
Judd Hirsch. There you go. I was going to look it up. Yeah, I remember that one too. So funny. Did you think that Janie and her partner deserved to win the dance contest?
No.
No? Who did you think was better?
I can't tell you. They all moved together. I just think the other people were better. It's all that tumbling gets on my nerves. Because it's just not dancing. It's its own, I don't know. I just didn't think they deserved it.
I like that there was these twin sisters that had like a Janelle Monáe thing going on where they were
I would like that.
And I was like, they're pretty good. How come they didn't win?
Yeah. Do a Janelle Monáe thing. Like they all just wear black and white and.
Yeah. I'm like, how come they weren't in the like tiebreaker? Because there was certainly nothing special about the final two couples other than, that dramatically it had to be them, I guess. But I think it's a pleasant little romp. I know that Binksy of Binksy and Evan fame, from the what's the name of their podcast? The happy hour one. Shit.
Oh, Fun Time Happy Hour.
Yes, yeah, Fun Time Happy Hour. Thank you. They haven't put out a new episode in a while. That's why I forgot. She's also a big fan of this one. She'd requested it before too, and it's one of her like go-to feel-good movies. And I'm like, I totally get it.
No, it's a nice slice of 80s. There's no racism here. Nobody says the F word. Nobody. There's no homophobia. I mean, there's one guy who's in a dress that gets an invitation and kind of goes
but it's really not. Strange. But even that's not like
laughs.
Yeah,
they don't make fun of him. He's just excited.
Yeah. I liked it. I was glad to watch it again. It's streaming on Hulu. I didn't have to pay for it. I was happy to watch it again. It's been on our list for a really long time, so I was glad to do it. And Sarah Jessica Parker. Look, right now, Carrie Bradshaw is not my fave. Like when I see the clips of Sex in the City, I'm like, ugh, because it's all about.
That's not her fault.
And that's not her fault. She's really good on that show.
Yeah, she was great.
And she's one of those people who's always good.
She's dependable. It was just an iconic character in an iconic time. Mm-hmm. For me, I always think of it as like after 9/11.
Yeah.
It was a show that like really spoke to me. Mm-hmm. That and The Sopranos, because they were based in the New York area after that all happened and addressed it.
Yeah.
And it was, so I'll always have like this fondness for it. Does it hold up? No. The second movie is really bad.
Yeah. I have fondness for it too, because at the time I was single and I just, there weren't a lot of shows like that at the time that were about women and women friends, and their friendship was number one on that. Like everyone talks about Carrie and Big or whatever, but like the truth is their friendship was the big thing. And I don't think that's it's more common now. It was not at the time. And that meant something to me at the time. And I watched Sex and the City a lot back in the day. I didn't base my life on it. I wasn't, like, oh, well, Miranda would do this, so I'll do that, whatever. Like it's a perfectly fine show for the time. Will I watch the reboot? Maybe. I'll watch an episode or two.
I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out. I mean, they have all the people back for it.
I miss Kim Cattrall, though.
Kim Cattrall, that character, Samantha Jones, people don't give her enough credit. That character went through a huge story arc in her time. She was so ahead of her time in so many ways. The way she handled breast cancer and the way they wrote about it and her recovery. And then she had the relationship with Smith. Like she made this really full.
He is so hot.
She's insanely hot. Funny as shit.
Yeah.
Like she could she could take a C+ joke and make it funny. Like she just had that, way about her.
Yes.
And like I said, like her character really showed vulnerability. She really grew up.
Yes.
And I feel like she was way ahead of the other characters. So that's why the movie, when it comes back, she goes, "Oh, I dumped Smith and now I'm doing this." And that's just kind of going back to what she was. I'm like, oh
yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
And
the Miranda and Steve storyline, Jesus.
I know, right? That one.
Ugh.
And Steve was such a nice guy, and then to like do stuff like that was like super shitty. And you know, because all the Sex in the City talk is going on right now, I was thinking about it, and I was like, Smith, the guy who plays Smith, he's, like we said, he's gorgeous, very handsome, but the character was actually a really good character, and everyone's like Mr. Big or Steve or whatever, and I'm like, that character Smith is a good character.
Yeah.
And he was a good guy. First of all, like we said, very handsome. Second, was with Samantha, really loved her the way she was. Like,
right.
Stood by her when she had breast cancer. Remember, he shaved his head to like.
He was a good. To show solidarity. He was a partner.
He was a real partner to her. It was a real bummer to me when they broke up.
I was too. I'm like, damn it. Yeah.
Welcome to our Sex in the City podcast.
I know, exactly. So what point in Mad About You did you go like, I fucking hate these people? Because there's a certain point where you're supposed to root for this couple. Maybe it's just me. Oftentimes it is. So maybe I'm just spitballing. At some point I found them insufferable. Something about it.
I was never on board. I was like someone who watched an episode
You
and
never
was like,
mad about them?
No. I was mad at them. No, I watched like one or two episodes and I was like, that's enough of that. And I wasn't into it. It didn't speak to me. And like, I was still in college at the time, and I was, you know, working at the movie theater and like doing my school's things. And there was nothing about Mad About You that was connecting with me at the time. And the truth is I might really like it now, but
I liked it like the first season. But I think because Paul Reiser's hilarious, and he and Helen Hunt had a good chemistry. They had a really cute dog. Murray was his name?
Yeah, I think that's right.
And they had a good supporting cast. Like, and she had a sister that was kind of a mess of a person. I related to her. And I kind of like really liked it. And then it just kind of got to the Paul and Jamie part of it. Like, I think they just were like, we need to get serious. So then they broke them up for like a few episodes.
Oh.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? This is a sitcom.
No.
More calm, please.
No. It's not for me. I think I'll still pass.
Yeah. Yeah, they had it on Spectrum TV, the remake, and I'm like, nah.
No, I know people love it.
Good.
It was on for years. Like,
yeah.
People were big fans. I think, didn't Lisa Kudrow kind of get her start from there?
A lot of people did, and then Helen Hunt was going to have a big movie career. She won an Oscar.
Yeah.
She was married to Hank Azaria.
Yeah. They were together forever, then they got married, and then they broke up, and I'm like,
yeah.
Maybe marriage isn't an awesome idea. Just saying.
But she won.
Don't listen to me.
Yeah, she won for a movie that I've been trying to watch again because it's set in Windsor Terrace, which is the neighborhood next to me. And I'm writing a book right now about films in Brooklyn. And that movie, the Jack Nicholson character is so hateful and awful.
Yeah.
So horrible. Like how in 1997, people were just like, I'm rooting for that guy. I hope he gets a really young woman.
I am very happy to hear you say this because I was all alone in 97 going, I don't like this movie. Why is it winning?
I was the same way.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And it won like all this stuff. And it was no knock on Helen Hunt that she won. I was just like, I don't like this movie.
Yeah. And
I didn't like him in it. I kind of I think I liked Greg Kinnear in it, but not enough to like the movie.
He's the good. Only like human that you can kind of relate to. I mean, she's a waitress / she's a single mom, and her son is sick all the time. And Jack Nicholson is a famous writer, but he has OCD, and they're trying to make a comedy about OCD, and that's like, well, that doesn't work. But he also says racist,
he's
homophobic,
awful.
anti-Semitic things all the time. We're all supposed to be like, that's part of his disease. I'm like, no, he's an asshole.
Yeah, he's
like,
a prick.
What are we? He's a prick.
Yeah. And then he says, he says to her, like, you make me want to be a better man. And then she's like, oh. And we're all supposed to be like, oh. And I'm like, asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. No thanks.
Do you want to hear about some other movies that came out in 1985?
Please.
I picked movies that were trying to attract teenagers. Well, except for one of them I put up here up top. National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Yeah, I kind of like that one, I have to say. It's not as good as the first one, but it's got some moments.
All I really remember is him driving. He's stuck in the roundabout, and he's going, there's Big Ben, Parliament. That's all I remember from European Vacation.
I know when they go to Stonehenge, so they knock over the Stonehenge things. That made me laugh.
I wonder if I would like it more now, actually, that expectations are lower. But I had to put it on the list. 1985, Better Off Dead.
Love Better Off Dead.
I love Better Off Dead. $2. My sister.
Did we cover that one?
We have not.
We should put that on the list.
All right. I'm like, we could do it anytime you're ready. I love to talk. I love Better Off Dead.
Me too.
My sister and I still occasionally say, we just go, $2. The Breakfast Club.
Yep.
That's a good one. It was to me at the time. I think it still is. I think it still is.
It holds up. Yeah, it's entertaining.
That Judd Nelson character is a real prick, though. I think I might.
Bender's awful.
He's awful. I think I'd have a different reaction to him now.
Yeah, and then people get so upset because Ali Sheedy gets a makeover. Yeah. But I'm like, she's a teenage girl.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she meets a cute boy that thinks she's cute. Like, you're going to doll some girls do.
Yeah.
It's not like the biggest, she's not going to betray everything about herself to put on mascara. Relax.
She probably doesn't keep that look anyway.
No.
Because, they don't talk again. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Explorers.
I'd never seen it. My younger brother used to love it, though.
I saw it in the theater and really liked it. I have not seen it since then. But I liked it at the time. My Science Project.
Is that Peter O'Toole?
No, that one is My Favorite Teacher.
Oh,
is that what that was called? My Favorite Year. My Favorite Year. No, I don't think My Science Project actually had. I think Fisher Stevens might be the most famous person in it. Let me look it up. 1985. I'm gonna look it up. John Stockwell. Danielle von Zerneck, Fisher Stevens, a high school student, teen.
Oh, I remember this movie.
It's another like HBO.
On all the time.
Yeah, usually on after girls just want to have fun. Did you see Once Bitten?
Yep.
Yes. Jim Carrey in one of his first movies.
Yep.
Porky's Revenge.
I'm sure I saw it.
I'm sure you saw it in the theater, like opening day. It was probably like your favorite movie that year, Margo. Porky's is fucked up. Real Genius, which we did a whole episode about.
Love.
It's an amazingly hilarious comedy. Go watch Real Genius if you haven't seen it. Secret Admirer. You seen that one?
It's a sex comedy, right?
It's like C. Thomas Howell and I think it's Lori Loughlin and somebody else. And there's like a love letter confusion.
That gets passed around everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
He was, C. Thomas Howell was
a star.
He was quite the star back in the day.
He was Soul Man, remember?
Oh my God, that movie.
That's a fucked up movie.
How does Soul Man exist?
We should do that episode.
Jesus
we should do it.
Christ. That movie, I'm writing it down. That movie's fucked up.
Yep.
Fucked up. All right. And then the last one is The Sure Thing.
I love The Sure Thing.
I love The Sure Thing. I had such a crush on John Cusack back in the day.
He was hot.
Yeah. I mean, I still have like a special place for John Cusack, but I loved The Sure Thing. It is Rob Reiner before like When Harry Met Sally. I think after Spinal Tap, right? Sure Thing.
Yeah, Spinal Tap was like 83.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think Sure Thing holds up. And that's it for 85 movies.
Do you want to hear about the top songs? These came out April, or these are the top songs, April 1985. Here in the States.
Can't wait.
Okay. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Don't Come Around Here No More.
I love Tom Petty, R.I.P.
Love Tom Petty. That's a great song. John Fogerty, Rock and Roll Girls. He had like a resurgence.
I remember that. He had like Center Field and
Old Man Down the
Road and Vance Can't Dance. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Power Station, Some Like It Hot.
Oh, I was super into the Power Station.
Yeah. Stevie Wonder, Part-Time Lover. Couldn't get away from that song.
You could not.
That was everywhere. Huey Lewis and the News, The Power of Love.
My man Huey.
Oh, man. Commodores, The Night Shift. Marvin.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
I love the Commodores.
Me too. Phil Collins, Susudio.
I loved
Phil Collins.
I loved that whole album.
I did too. No Jacket Required.
No Jacket Required.
And I love this song, UTFO. Roxanne.
Oh, yes.
I want to be your man.
I want to be your man. And then we had Roxanne's Revenge.
Yep.
I was
Hip-hop.
into it. Your Commodores reference there reminded me of Trashy Divorces did an amazing episode on Lionel Richie's divorces. And if y'all haven't heard it, go listen to it. It's a good one.
That's a great podcast.
Yeah. My sister and I have
really
mentioned the Lionel Richie episode a few times to each other recently, just because he was having an affair and the wife showed up and and like attacked both of them and basically kicked him in the balls, and then he got in his car and left. And then she just sits there and like just goes after the
mistress.
Yeah, the mistress. But he was like, and then he tried to be like, she kicked me in the stomach, and we're like, dude, we know what really happened.
Yeah.
You got kicked in the balls. It's an amazing
funny.
episode. What else are you dorking out about, Margo?
I saw it's on streaming right now. It's not cheap, but you can stream, you can pay, I think it's like $19.99, and it's the Anthony Bourdain documentary.
I put this on my list too.
Did you watch it?
Yes. I love Anthony
It's good,
Bourdain.
but it's a bummer.
It's a bummer. I loved his shows. I watched all of his shows.
Me too.
And it's a bummer. It was cool to see the old footage and like see him back in younger days, because I'm not like super familiar and I've never read Kitchen Confidential.
Nor have I.
So to see that stuff was really awesome. But then the later stuff was hard. It was hard, but I think it's well done.
It's well done. I'd say they paint Asia Argento, his last girlfriend, as the villain.
Yeah, I didn't like that part.
And that I mean, people break up for a myriad of reasons.
Yes.
And I mean, they say that he became obsessed with her. Like, he would have obsessions. He had an addictive personality. He never really treated it. He used heroin for a while, and then he just quit cold turkey. And they said he always drank. I mean, there's you kind of medicate in another way. But when he broke up with his first wife, he remarries, and then he has a kid. And I remember this about him. He was always like, I'm in my 50s now. My life's about rainbow bright and pink colors. And, he had a daughter. He was like really crazy about her. And it was hard to hear that, like, he just all of a sudden just wanted to go back on the road again. Yeah. And just wanted to, they only saw him like maybe once a month. And then he starts dating Asia Argento, and then the footage of like her directing a scene and interrupting. Oh my God. She
not good.
Totally fucks up a scene.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
It was not good direction. She's a horror director. I don't know. But they paint her as like, Tony got really into her, and then it didn't end well. And that's why and it's like, well, people take their lives for a whole bunch of reasons.
And they don't interview her, which I think,
no.
And maybe they asked her and she said no. That I have not looked up. But like, Her not being interviewed seemed like a missed opportunity, and I don't like that they were trying to paint her as somehow responsible for what happened, because she's not responsible for that.
No, and he's like in his 60s.
Yeah.
And, maybe, she's European. She was divorced. Maybe she thought it was more of an open relationship.
Yeah.
That's, maybe that's what she wanted, and he didn't understand. I don't know. And, addicts, the thing was that got to me is like, oh God, who's the cook, the chef, not the one who found him, but the one, David Chang.
Yeah.
When he talks about, he was giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
You're going to be a bad father. Like all that projection that he did. It's so, it's so tough to listen to. I almost feel like I'm glad I watched it, and I think it's really well done. And I hope it intrigues people enough to check out it. He's a great writer.
He's such a great writer, and like such a good representation of what Americans should be like when we travel the world.
Yes.
Because he was
absolutely.
very curious. Like he asked questions, but he wasn't a dick about it.
Right.
But
he's never rude.
Yeah, he asked questions, and that's what you should.
Curious.
That's what you should do. We're trying when you're traveling to other places, you're trying something new. Maybe you don't understand. Just ask.
Right.
Don't assume. And that's what he did. I loved watching his show. I still watch it because there's a million of them, and there's a million episodes I haven't seen. So I always go back and watch them. I think they're really great because they're not just about food.
It's about travel.
Yeah. But it's also, they shouldn't be no one should be holding her responsible for that. That's bullshit.
That was on him. He was a grown man. It's what he had some sort of mental illness that he couldn't overcome. And it doesn't matter how rich and famous you are, how successful you are, how much you're admired.
Yeah.
You have crippling anxiety. You can have self-doubt that just can't be overcome. It's humbling.
It is. It's really sad.
Yeah. So I would say it's a bummer. So, it's a cautious.
Yes.
Trigger warning though. It's about a man who dies by suicide.
Yeah.
And then my other thing, I just want to rant.
Yes.
If I may.
Yes. Always.
HBO Max, your fucking app on Roku sucks balls. I hate you, whoever created it, who's ever in charge of this app, be it Roku or HBO Max, whoever is in charge of this, I hope your Labor Day sucks. I hope you have shitty weather. You deserve a lump of coal in your stockings.
I hope you get a paper cut.
I hope you get a paper cut and somebody pours lemon juice on it, because you are an entertainment company. You've been doing it for 40 freaking years. You should be able to create an app that works. And it is so glitchy and terrible, and it is really pissing me off. And
yes.
I'm sorry, but I spent 25 minutes trying to watch a documentary on there, and I could not make it work. And yes, I took it off and I put it back on again. I erased it. I started it up, started it over again. I've done everything I'm supposed to do, and they're terrible, and I'm pissed about it. And I pay a lot of money for HBO, and that's my
sucks.
Rant. It sucks.
It's bullshit. My sister told me the same thing. She's having the same problem. And I said, you and Margo need to form a support group or something, because you're both having the same problems. And it's so frustrating. And I told you off mic, I'm a nice lady and usually pretty even keel and pretty happy, but I lose my fucking shit when technology doesn't work for me. I lose my mind like a child. I can't deal with it.
When I have Microsoft, that's how I roll. I'm not a Apple person for computers, and Microsoft people will know what I'm talking about. When it does that not responding, and it does that circle thing, and it's not responding, and it's taking forever, and you would think I was a child stuck in a hot car with my siblings, no air conditioning. I just completely regress to my worst self. And then I'm not great about it either. I wish I had better skills, but I also think this is not an app that's free. That's just not working, today. It's an app. I'm paying for this company $20 a month for 25 years. I should be able to get this crap to work.
It makes me insanely mad for you because I know White Lotus
Yeah.
has having its finale tonight, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
bullshit.
It's bullshit. I want to watch the Nora Ephron documentary. Like I wanted to, and it's just like not working, just going back to the home screen on Roku. And it's just, who do you complain to? Because HBO is like, oh, it's a Roku problem. It's you can't call anybody and they can't fix it. It's glitchy. I've seen a couple of articles about it, but I honestly feel there needs to be more pressure on them to fix this crap because it's infuriating.
It is. I agree with you. It makes me mad on your behalf.
Thank you.
Bullshit. I wanted to mention one other movie. I paid to rent it on Apple TV, and it's called Pig. Have you
Nick Cage?
With Nicolas Cage, and it's written directed by a first-time filmmaker, Michael Sarnowski. I think I pronounced that right. And I watched it because Patrick Bromley and Adam Risky over at F This Movie really, really liked it. And I was like, okay, I love going to the movies, and I'm still not comfortable going to a movie theater yet. So I went ahead and just rented it, and it's really fucking good.
Really? Okay.
It's really good. I don't want to ruin it because I think part of the experience of seeing the movies, I didn't know a lot about it when I went into it. So I kept waiting for certain things to happen that never happened. But, Nicolas Cage's character is this former chef who now is a recluse. He lives like in the middle of like nowhere, like in a forest in the cabin, and he has a pig that he uses to find truffles. And he's leading like a quiet life, and he seems quite fine with it. And these people bust into his cabin and they steal his pig.
I'm not going to watch that.
Well, you don't see anything after that, but then he's like, well, I have to find my pig. So he like goes,
he's a pig finder.
Yeah. So then he goes back so he goes into Portland where he hasn't been in like 10 years or something, and starts like asking questions and like talking to people to find his pig. And it's really well done. He's really, really great in it. Nicolas Cage is great. Like, I know
he's a great actor.
We all love to like make all of his movies, they like open at the Red Box or whatever. Like, he's a really great actor, and he's really, really great in this movie. And the movie has so much empathy for everyone in this surprisingly amount of empathy for people that I was really impressed. I really thought it was going to be a different kind of movie, just based on like Patrick and Adam's recommendation. And I thought it was going to turn into John Wick, basically, is what I thought it was going to be. And it's not that. It's not that. It's really, really good. I actually think you would like it. And I recommend it to all of our listeners. I think it's a good one. I'm glad I watched it.
Okay. That's more than enough for me.
Yeah. You don't worry. I don't think it's upsetting that someone steals this pig. But
yeah, I mean, stealing animals is kind of somebody stole a beagle of ours when I was a kid. Yeah.
Who does that?
I don't know. And my youngest brother was crying the whole way home. Like, we're all trying to calm him. He's like, where is he? Where is he? We were on vacation and some shithead took him. Yeah.
That's awful.
It really got to me.
No, and that's why, like, this movie, that's why it hit me in a soft spot, because like a pig, people think like, oh, it's just a pig or whatever. But like, the pig is more than just a pig to him. The pig is like, it's his pet, and our pets are our family. And
pigs are really smart too.
And they're so smart. And I don't want to shit on anyone because I know y'all love bacon and stuff, but pigs are really, really smart. And
it's hard. It's a tough choice.
Yeah. But I know I'm an animal lover. I know you're an animal lover. So like, movies like this hit me in a soft spot where I have to like Google to find out what's going to happen to the pig. It's the only way I can watch the movie.
So does the pig die?
I'm not going to say what happens, but I'm not going to say. I can't tell you. I'll tell you off mic. I don't want to ruin it for everybody.
Okay. That's good. Yeah,
okay.
That's okay.
So this was fun. I'm glad we talked about Girls Just Want to Have Fun and Sex in the City and the shitty
Mad
HBO
About You.
and Mad About You and the shitty HBO Max app and pigs. This was fun.
Yeah. We kind of,
We covered it.
we covered a lot of shit today.
Yeah, we did. And if you like the sound of our voices, and of course you do because you're not a monster, we also do a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about a creep every week, and then we end the episode with someone who's not a creep. We are having so much fun on this show, and we have a secret podcast group on Facebook. It's not really a secret, but it's private, and you have to answer a few questions if you want to join. But if you listen to What a Creep and Dorking Out and you want to join, you're welcome to join. There's some dorks in there too, and It's super fun. Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
You could find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick on Twitter and Instagram, and my site is brooklynfitchick.com.
And Margo is writing a book about movies that were filmed in Brooklyn, and she's posting these really great photos on Instagram. It's really cool, and everybody should be following Margo. You won't be sorry.
Thank you.
Also, she has the cutest cats in Brooklyn.
I do.
They're so
That's
cute.
Stone cold fact.
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram, where I have the cutest dogs in San Francisco. And I'm also on TikTok, where I'm there to ruin it for the kids. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter and sometimes Instagram, and pretty much never Facebook, where people just go to complain that we use salty language. But if you want to email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com, we take requests. This was a request. If you have a request, if you have a movie you would like us to watch and dork out about, we will be happy to do it. And you can also get some stickers. They're really, really cute. So please do that. And I'm just going to go dance now.
Dancing
in heaven.